girls. So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For this case, we are going back to South Carolina. This case apparently had kind of trended when it happened, considering that why our killers killed our victim in a situation. And unlike other cases where they speculated that our victim apparently was an abuser, they were able to actually confirm this person was an abuser thanks to their public criminal history. However, it is kind of controversial because there was some other stuff that came out about them. Definitely let me know if you've heard the case. Sources down below as always. I'm gonna quit my rambling and let's go and get started. Because this is a fatal female channel, also we're gonna start off with the female of this duo. So we're gonna start with Christine. Christine was said to have been born in 1976. Don't have a date of birth on her. It is said that she grew up in an abusive household, and this was said that she was getting raped by a family friend from the age of 2 up until her teenage years. Doesn't specify a specific year, just said up till teenage. So I assume at least 13, 14 at the earliest. Okay. So then it said that a separate person had also raped her, but they got sentenced to 3 years. Of course, people I heard that's doing stuff like that, they never really served the full sentence. They only served 1.5 years and is actually said to have stalked her once they got out of jail. So you can imagine that's pretty traumatizing. So then after she graduates high school, she apparently is like, I'm gonna go out and socialize more. She then meets this guy. I didn't find his name anywhere, but considering what she did, I wouldn't want to be associated with her either. They apparently get married. She gets divorced and decides to say fuck it and just moves to Colorado. And then Christine, after her divorce, she starts dating this acquaintance of hers. And then apparently he would beat her pretty regularly. She left and moves back to California. So apparently she's from California. She starts going online dating at the age of 32. There she meets a guy by the name of Jeremy Moody, who was the other part of our duo. He's said to been born in 1981. His dad's a pastor, mom's stay-at-home wife and mother, right? And then it said that unfortunately he had actually gotten raped by his grandfather multiple times during his childhood, but never told anyone about it until Christine. So as you can see, both characters in our story have history of being violated by those who they're supposed to have trusted. So in a way, you can kind of see what went down and why they chose that specific type of person. So then, of course, like I said, they're talking online. Jeremy is in South Carolina, and Christine is in California. Obviously, that's a pretty long distance. So they originally were talking through just email, just a distance. But Jeremy apparently would eventually drive to California to meet her. They apparently eventually get married. They move into Jeremy's parents' house in South Carolina to start their life. Christine would sadly get diagnosed with cancer and would have to have a double vasectomy. And so Jeremy apparently was selling illegal drugs in order to pay for these treatments, because cancer treatments are expensive. But luckily, apparently, Christine apparently survived and it went away after a year. But one thing that came out later about them that obviously is not well liked, apparently Christine and Jeremy are both part of a white supremacist group called the 411. One thing that they hate the most, as most people probably agree with this part, but obviously not the white supremacist part. One thing this group apparently hated the most was child rape, specifically child rape. So understandably, these two haven't been touched as kids. They could obviously relate to that. And they decide, we're going to go around killing the child rapist in the United States. So then apparently their first victim, Charles Melvin Parker, aka Butch. So we're going to call him Butch for the story. And so Butch was born January 23rd, 1954. In 1991, Butch would get charged with the rape of a child. So apparently he did that and he pled guilty, got charged for it. And then in 2003, I think he would get charged for raping a 31 physically disabled woman. So obviously not a good person. He would wind up marrying Gretchen. She was born April 17, 1962. Doesn't specify when they get married, but they do get married. As far as I see, they didn't have any kids together. And Butch, as a job, because he's a sex offender, for what he did back in 2003, he would be a mechanic, but not have his own shop. He would have people, if you need to work on your car, I'll do it, but you have to come to my house. So on the fateful day of July 21st, 2013, Jeremy and Christine go over to Butch's house because obviously they had the plan to kill all the child offenders. And so they go over to Butch's house, basically pretending there's something wrong with my car. Butch, apparently, obviously, he's going to inspect this car. He's like, there's nothing wrong with your car. So then Jeremy's like, oh, okay, well, can I use your phone? So then I guess Butch is okay with it. So then Butch, Gretchen, Christine, and Jeremy, they all go into the house. That is when they shoot Butch and then Gretchen. And then apparently Gretchen's throat is slit. Butch is stabbed. Christine and Jeremy leave the house, smoke a cigarette on the porch, and then they dip. And apparently this is all caught on camera. Now, whether they knew the couple had cameras didn't say, but there were cameras of pretty much them showing up them smoking a cigarette, then dipping. Like I said, Butch is a well-known mechanic, so it's assumed that another potential customer pulls up, legitimately needing car help. He shows up, the front door's open, which apparently that's normally a red flag, because like Butch apparently wasn't the type of person to just leave his front door open. There would be a dog, which is nothing wrong with having a dog, it's a pretty common pet. However, this dog apparently was smeared, he would see this dog smear blood on the front door. So he's like, okay, that's definitely not normal. So he calls police. Police go in. They find the bodies. And then apparently like 20 dogs, 6 chickens, and cats were removed from the house. So apparently the crimes that Butch had committed, he committed them in North Carolina. And like I said, this happened in South Carolina. So South Carolina, they see Butch's record and is like, oh, well, maybe one of his victims, one of the people he actually had violated, a family member or a friend of said victim came back years later for revenge. Because, as you can imagine, something like rape, that apparently has, like, potentially lifelong lasting effects on a person. So they're basically trying to see, did you get your revenge, like, years later, essentially. That came back nothing. They find the cameras on the house. They somehow are able to enhance it, and they see Christine and Jeremy. So that's how we know it's them. And then apparently Jeremy is on camera with the gun. Also, the victims are shot, so, you know, there's connecting those dots. And then apparently this is a small town in South Carolina. So obviously small town, everybody know everybody. They asked the other officers in this city, like, hey, do you know this man or this woman? And apparently multiple officers were able to identify Jeremy because of some shit he did in the past. So they bring in the couple, and Jeremy apparently agrees to talk, but only to a black officer, which is kind of ironic considering you're literally part of a white supremacist group. So, like, I feel like you refuse to talk to the officer. But they're like, look, it's a weird request, but okay, if they get you to talk, fair enough. So then apparently this is said because that specific officer, despite being black and me being a white supremacist group, I never felt judged by that particular officer. But I mean, if it gets you to talk, it gets you to talk. So then Jeremy comes out and says, yeah, I actually killed like 4 other people. So like, that's not even our first victim. Some of them for like personal grudges, and some of them were from Rachel. And then apparently Christine refused to like back up that story, and the other bodies and these alleged other victims, they never were able to confirm that Jeremy actually killed anybody other than Butch and Gretchen. So then apparently, I should have mentioned they apparently both arrested at Jeremy's mom's house. And then obviously, it came out that you killed a child molester. So obviously, and we in the South, obviously you're going to get a lot of support. Because the white supremacist part didn't come out until later. We mostly focus on the fact that you took a child violator off the planet. So we're going to support you for that. And Christine apparently would get jealous because Jeremy was actually getting more attention than she was. So then this decides, okay, I'm going to go talk to the police. So then we get to trial, and their defense attorney, because apparently they're going to trial together, says that, hey, they're both victims of child molestation. Can you lower the sentence? Because they were on first-degree murder, and you know, again, it's normally life in prison or a death penalty, depending on what state you're in, because not every state does a death penalty. They were sentenced to life, both of them. So yeah, like I said, definitely a controversial case. I feel like had they killed the people who actually violated them, they probably would have had more sympathy. Like, oh, you probably would have got a shorter sentence, you know, considering self-defense, but considering you just went off and killed some random older dude, despite his past, like his confirmed past, I guess it's confirmed that he did do the things that he was convicted of. You did kill his wife. Kind of some of y'all wonder why Gretchen, what'd she do? Well, you did marry a man that has a history of violating people, and so they pretty much said that she was collateral damage. Basically, you did it to yourself because you married a child molester, essentially. So you deserved what happened to you. That was their thought. Oh, yeah, like I said, that is another case for Faith on Friday. Definitely know your thoughts down below. Sources down below as always. Let me know any similar cases. You think they should have got lighter sentences? Do you think that Gretchen should have died? Which is kind of a messed up question to ask, but definitely know your thoughts. I cover fatal females 3 times every week. So subscribe for more fatal females, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions, I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless, I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.